How many videos can I film in a day of just changing my hair and my shirt without you noticing? Well, now you know, but still. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel, and today we're talking about books. So today, by the title, we're talking about the most surprising reads that I've read of 2021. And these are all surprising in a good way. Yeah, so we'll just kind of jump into it, I guess. If you have not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe down below and like and comment and let me know what your most surprising read of the year was. And yeah, if you are not new here, welcome back. It's so nice to see you. So without further ado, let's get into the list because we have a whole 7 books to talk about. And yeah, so far I've read 35 books and I am on track to read over 40 by the end of the year, so we got a lot of book content coming and I am very excited and do not plan on stopping anytime soon. First, we're going to talk about the first book that I read on my Kindle. So I bought a Kindle earlier this year. Best purchase by far that I have made in a long time. And I was kind of like sussing out the app. I was like, I don't really know like if I can go to digital. Like I really like my physical copies. You know, we got a bookshelf behind me. We have another one in the hallway. I was like, I don't know. And so I was like, you know what? We're gonna try it out. It was on sale. I think I got it for $75 or something. And I was like, cool. And I made a vow to myself that we were not gonna buy any books on Kindle. We're just gonna try it out because I didn't want to waste any money. So the first book that I read was Hitlist, and this is a political novel that is based in the States, and you are following a Republican. And I'm Canadian and don't really agree with the American politics, but it's fine. It's very entertaining to watch from up north. But yeah, so we're following like an election and kind of leading up to it, and our protagonist is this Republican woman who is running to be the first female president of the States, and she happens to be in the Italian mob. And it's just kind of like following that, and I loved it. It was so, like, it was surprising to me how much I enjoyed it because I was reading strictly on my Kindle at night as I was going to bed. Because this was before I had discovered Libby, and I was like, I'm not about to like read during the day on my Kindle when I can read physical books. I don't know. So Hitlist was amazing. But yeah, it was entertaining. It was very eye-opening. And it was nice and refreshing. Like, to just have an author who was not afraid to put it all out there. And yeah, I loved it. And I finished it really quickly. Like, I would stay up at night just to read it. And there were times where I was like, no! And there's a really nice twist in it too, which was not expected at all, but it was fantastic. The next one I also read on my Kindle, and it's like a dark romance, and I am not a romance person at all. I'm more of a thriller, more of a like action adventure, like, I don't know, like I like the Thirst series, I like Harry Potter, I like Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm more of a fantasy or like sci-fi person, and for me to enjoy the romance as much as I did, and it's a trilogy, but I still haven't read the next 2 books, but it was the deal. And by Stella Gray, I think. Once again, I'll link to all the books that I can in the description because I did enjoy these. I like the plot line, heart-wrenching. Like, there's moments where you just kind of feel sick to your stomach. There's moments where you're like rooting for the love trope. There's moments where you want to like scream, and there's a twist at the end. And it's a perfect setup for book number 2, so I really hope that this author doesn't drop the ball because like typically book number 2 in a trilogy can be really weak. So I'm hoping and praying that it is as strong as book 1 because, like, my god. And you know, like, the guy is pretty despicable, but so lovable at the same time. Like, think of Draco Malfoy. That's what the male character is. And the woman is like this strong, confident, independent young lady who don't need no man, but got a husband for her 18th birthday present. So, like, there's that. I don't know. And she's brilliant. Like, oh my god. It was incredible. Recommend it. The next book, also read on my Kindle, are we surprised? Probably not, is Anchored. And this one I talked about in my currently reading video like a couple weeks ago. I finished it. It surprised me because, like, I know that it's a series, but it wrapped it up in a nice little bow where, like, I don't really feel the need to read the other books. And it just kind of left like a nice taste in my mouth where I was like, I could continue along this path, or I'm fine with just kind of leaving it. And typically with series books, I don't feel like that. Like, I've just raved about the deal, and like in previous videos, I've raved about other books that are like the first or second or third or fourth to a series. And yeah, this one, it surprised me because, like, once you actually dive into it and once you actually figure out what's happening, incredible. There's a really great twist at the end. Our character ends up being far more brave than you expect, and far more brave than she's kind of set up to be. And yeah, it was just like, it was refreshing and surprising and, like, amazing. How many times can I say surprising? Let's just start a counter. The next one is vampire-y, fairy, fantasy, and it's also the start to another series, and that is First Magic. And oh my god, I was not expecting to love this book as much as I did and do. Like, I still think about this, and I still think about the characters, and I'm like, where are they? What is happening? What is happening in this world? I need to know. And, like, I didn't think that I was gonna enjoy it that much. I was like, oh, you know, like, just reading to enjoy, and every time I'd finish a book on my Kindle, I'd be like, let's just start a new one, I guess, and then I'd go down this hole of just reading a bunch of books in a week. And that was one of the books, and I still haven't, like, I still love it, and I'm like, oh, okay, and that doesn't happen often for me. So, for that reason, it surprised me in a good way. The next book, same vein. This follows magicians? Wizards? Witches? I don't know. Trials of Magic. Book 1. I really want to finish the series. I'm going to, but I have other books prioritized first. And because it's available on my Kindle, I can just download it and read it whenever I want to. And that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of these series and books and everything. And so we're following two sisters in this book, and basically you have to do a trial to get into this magical school that's really expensive, and you have to pay a bunch of money to even do the test to get into this school. And if, like, there's 100 different majors, I guess you could say, like, if you're thinking about it from a university perspective, and some of them are really hard to get into. Like, you might have to murder somebody to get into some of these classes. And yeah, you're just following these two sisters. But yeah, and like just the relationship and the dynamic and the twist. There's so many good books on Kindle that have a twist at the end that you don't expect coming. And I feel like because they're free books on Kindle, a lot of people might not give them a chance. And I feel like this book deserves a lot of hype. So with that, Trials of Magic. Amazing. So the next book is a book that has been getting a lot of hype. And I was really hesitant to read it because of that. And that is Song of Achilles. And what surprised me about this book was that it was just as good as everybody said it was. And thank God it was, because if it wasn't, that would have been like 500 and some odd pages of horror, like just to have to sit through it. Instead, I read it in maybe 2 sittings, maybe. Like, it was great. And the one thing that I will say is I almost wish it didn't have a happy ending. And I know that I sound like such a horrible human for saying that, But I just think it would have been more in character for, you know, it to happen like that. For somebody to not grant it a happy ending. If you're catching my drift. If you've read the book, you know what I mean. If you haven't read the book, read it and then come back. And then we'll talk about it. But yeah, it surprised me in a great way. And the final book is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. And the reason why this one is on here and not on like my favorite reads is because this is an author's debut novel. This could have easily been worse than Dirty Little Secrets. Thank God it wasn't. The twist at the end, did not see that coming. And then there's another twist at the end, which you do not see coming. And yeah, so for this one, we're following a psychotherapist who becomes very fascinated in a case, gets a job just to work on this case, and is focused on making this woman talk about why she killed her husband. She shot him 6 or 7 times, I don't know, in the head, and just stops talking. And he's like, I want to make her feel better. I want to find out why. Why did you kill him? Yeah, why did you kill him? Alicia? And then you find out the truth, and it just like has a great little bow on top where you're just like, okay, cool. And so yeah, he has like a couple companion, like he has another companion novel to this, which is The Maidens. I already talked about it. And I hope he stays writing in this universe, and I hope we get more books in this same vein, but maybe not from the psychotherapist perspective, because that's been 2 for 2. And I just kind of want to see if he can do something different. You know? I want to know that. Can you, Alex? Can you write something different? If not, that's fine. I'll continue reading and buying your books. But I want to know, because that is kind of like the true test of being a good author. Is like, can you do something a little bit different? I want to know. But yeah, that wraps up my 7 most surprising reads of 2021. And honestly, all good books. Thank God. Like, this was a really good reading year for me, because it could have been so crap. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And with that, I will see you next time.